Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. Thank you for joining me today. This is the card we're making. Isn't it lovely? I think it has a real Mediterranean, lazy evening feel to it. I just love it. Though I think it could be used equally for Christmas as well. So you're going to see quite a few projects using this card in the coming months. So let's get started. This is the stamp set we're going to be using. It's called Lazy Days. And there's lots of different pieces that we're going to use here. The carpet, the rocking chair, the little drink table with drinks, etc. But as I said, there's all other little bits as well there. There's the basket of flowers, etc., hanging baskets. So let's get stamping. I have here a piece of basic white. It's just a piece of scrap that I've got here. And we're going to be stamping a Memento Tuxedo Black, because we are going to be colouring using our Stamp and Blend alcohol markers. So let's just ink these stamps up. And we're going to stamp, I think, the carpet first here. So just give it a good ink up. I think my ink pad needs re-inking. You hear me say this quite often with my ink pads. I'm lazy with my re-inking. I use them so much that I need to re-ink. Not very often, but I've had a lot of these ink pads for years and years and years and even more years. I've been with Stampin' Up actually 11 years now. So some of these ink pads I haven't re-inked in almost the 11 years, or maybe I've only re-inked them once or twice in that time. So you can understand now why nearly every ink pad I pick up, I think to myself, I need to re-ink this one. So here we're going to stamp rocking chair. This is my favourite image in the whole set. You've heard me talk about this before if you saw my haul video. My grandmother had a rocking chair. She had 2 rocking chairs in her lounge, and now I have them in my lounge. And I always loved the rocking chair as a kid. Couldn't wait to go and rock in the rocking chair. So I loved, as soon as I saw there was a rocking chair in the set, I was sold. Because I can see myself using that chair in so many different ways. So now I'm just going to stamp my sentiment, and it's from the stamp set called Timeless Arrangements, and we're just going to use the thank you. So just going to line this up using my grid paper and just use my block. There we go. And sometimes if I don't have a block that's big enough, I put it diagonally on the block, and then I have a block that's the right size. And now I'm just going to stamp this in a corner. I usually stamp it along a straight edge, so it helps me cut it out. So one side's already straight. Give it another ink up for good luck. And down, hold. There you go. So now we're going to make the rest of our card. And I have here a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 14.35 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And we're going to mask off about halfway down, because we want to create a sunset at the top, but we don't want it to go all the way down through our card. So I'm going to use a piece here of just post-it note tape. You could use masking paper as well. And I'm just going to use this to my grid paper to keep everything all nicely lined up and try and get a straight line as much as possible. And then decide where I want to put my post-it note tape, how far down, how far up. I can't decide. And I will decide. There you go. There it goes down. So now we're going to ink up the top half, and then the bottom half will stay lovely and clean. So we are going to do a sunset, and we're going to use a few colours to do some inking. And the first colour I'm using here is Lemon Lolly, and I'm just taking a little bit on my blending brush. Remember, less is more. You can always put more ink down, but it's very difficult to take it away. So I'm just working in a circular motion all along my top half here, just laying some ink down. I want it to be darker in the center there where the sun's going to be, and then sort of blend out a bit. So I'm just sort of building up the intensity of the color, as you can see. And now we're going to move on to our next color, and this one is Pumpkin Pie, and we're going to keep this mainly in the center. And I close up my ink pads as I go along, and I make sure I don't put my brush in the wrong ink pad, because there's only one to put it in. Very easily done, so I try and save myself from making a boo-boo by doing that. And yes, you can see here I'm just, getting a really nice vibrant sun, as you can see here. And then I'm going to bring that colour a little bit further out, just so it looks like it's bleeding out into the rest of the sky. You can see I'm just using my grid paper to take off a bit of the excess ink. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. So now I'm going to go back to my original colour, which was Lemon Lolly. And you can see me closing the ink pad up again, as I said. And now I'm just going to use that to blend everything together to try and get a seamless blend as possible. Okay, so that is all done. So let's close up those ink pads before they can cause any more mischief. Set that aside to dry. And we're going to bring back our stamped images and we're going to do a little bit of colouring now. So you're going to use the Stampin' Blend alcohol markers, and you can see here I've got them, and I'm going to be using the colours I'm going to be using are Balmy Blue, Pebbled Path rather, and Crumb Cake. So I'm using here Crumb Cake on my little table, and I'm going with my darker colour first, and same with my my rocking chair, and I'm just putting in little highlights where I think that the colour would be quite dark, and then I'm going in with my lighter colour and just blending everything out. Not being too precise, but I'm trying to stay obviously within the lines. You don't want it to look messy, but it can be a little difficult with the back of the rocking chair, I have to say. And I'm going to use my Balmy Blue. I'm going to have a Balmy Blue carpet, so you can see him adding some dark parts, and then going in with my lighter colour again to blend everything out. And I maybe will go back in again with the dark colour just to add some extra highlights. Yeah, you can see him doing the same thing again on my chair. So just keep on going around until I'm happy with it. Now it's time to die cut all of these things out, and of course the Lazy Days stamp set has a matching die set, and there are 1001 dies here. Quite a few of them don't match the stamp set, i.e. they cut out an image all of their own, including this lovely balustrade here, this canopy. So we're going to cut out one of those, and then we've got these little balcony pieces. Now I'm actually going to cut out a few of these. I think I cut out at least 4 of these, or maybe 3 of these. I can't actually remember how many I used. We've got that for the rocking chair, that little piece there for the table. Yes, it is for the table. You just got to get the right orientation, which is what I figure out just here. And then we're going to use, there we go, I figured it out at last. And then we're going to use this piece of the carpet. So we're going to run that through the die cutting machine, and by the magic of video editing, here are all our die cuts, all beautifully cut out. So now for this overhang here for the canopy and for the balcony pieces, I am going to add a little bit of colour because they just seem too stark white to me as they are now. So I'm going to use some Crumb Cake, and I'm going to add just a little bit of colour to it and sort of make it look like there's a little bit of shadow. So I'm just adding a bit as I feel it needs it, and you can see there how it's changed the appearance. And then we're going to do the same here for the balcony pieces, though I am here trying to keep the colour towards the bottom just so it looks like it's in shadow at the bottom and a bit lighter at the top. So I'm going to do that for all 3. It was 3 pieces of my balcony. So here's our card base, and our card base is Pumpkin Pie. It's a standard A6 card base. That's an A4 sheet cut in half and then folded in half. And then I've got a piece here of basic white cardstock that measures 14.35 centimeters by 10. And I'm going to use my seal just to see if it's going to actually work on me. Obviously trying to fight me there. And I'm going to use that just to put my insert on the inside. Yeah, I've gone over to my Tombow. I think my seal actually ran out of tape and needed a refill at that point. So went back to my trusty Tombow. Love Tombow. Gives you a bit of wriggle room. It's easy to apply. Really great glue. Okay, so that's our insert done. So let's bring back the piece we masked off. And we're going to remove the masking tape carefully. And look at that, beautifully masked off. Isn't that lovely? That's a great technique, masking. It just gives you so much extra depth and interest to your card, where you can mask off pieces, bring things into the foreground, push things into the background. It really does make it look so cool. So now we're going to arrange all our pieces on our card, and we're going to start to stick all of them down. And you can see here me doing that. And of course I'm going to use Tombow for this because it's going to be the best. And here you can see me searching for my tweezers. So just a few dabs here and there of Tombow, light hand if possible. I'm trying to use my tweezers, but in the end I go back to trust and tried method, my fingers. Now you can see here me just putting down my balcony pieces. That's the first piece, and you can see there how I'm making sure I keep the darker pieces towards the bottom and the lighter pieces towards the top. And you can see here I'm going to cut off the overhang, and then I'm going to use a little bit of that just to tuck in on the other side so it looks like it's a continuous piece. Now we're going to stick this piece to the front of our card base. There we go. And now we can start to arrange our elements on the front. And now I'm just going to quickly bring in a sponge dauber, or no, I'm going to bring in, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in my stamp again, my Lazy Day stamp, and I'm just going to add some interest to the ground in the foreground. So this little piece here just looks like tiles, and what I'm doing is I'm inking up and then stamping off and then inking down, and that way it doesn't look as if it's second generation stamping, as it's called. It doesn't look so harsh, but it just gives that interest of something in the background, so you get the illusion that this is actually a piece of ground, that this is planks along there. I'm going to put down my carpet, and now I'm going to pop up my rocking chair using dimensionals. I'm going to use a mixture of the mini dimensionals and the normal size that take all those blooming backings off. Of course they get everywhere. Doesn't matter how hard you try to corral them, they still get everywhere. Do you find that you find the backings of dimensionals and foam tape and such like just seem to migrate with you? I certainly do. I think it's a static on them. Okay, so now we're going to put down our little sentiment with some more foam, some more dimensionals. Give everything a little bit of interest. And you can see me here getting the backings off and then deciding whether I want to put my sentiment. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know, and please don't forget to subscribe to future videos. If you want more information about the project, the measurements, the supply list, etc., it's all on the blog post on my website, and the links to that and all my social media links are in the description box below. So here we've got our finishing touches, and I'm going to use some of these gold pearls just to bring a little bit of something here and there, and I think it just add something here. And I like to do a little row of 3, just something I like to do. I think it just brings that gold color or that yellowy color down from the sunset to the rest of the card. So all my social media links are in the description box below, so do check those out. It includes a link to my Facebook group where we host fortnightly challenges. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.